The minimum hardware requirements for setting up an Asterisk PBX include a system with 1 gig of RAM and 25 gigs of disk space, which can be low-cost options like a DigitalOcean cloud instance running Ubuntu 24, as an example. With this modest hardware specifications, you can effectively run and experiment with Asterisk PBX in a lab or development environment. When dimensioning an Asterisk PBX systems, there are a few considerations to keep in mind. First, the process is empirical, meaning it relies on observer data and testing. The SIP-V tool can be used to test for exceptions or edge cases. As a general rule, follow the 820 guideline. 80% of the Asterisk users typically have less than 30 concurrent calls and no more than 240 users. For systems falling in this major category, any modern server hardware should be sufficient to handle the load, right? So for this types of system, any modern server will work. However, for the remaining 20% of the cases, you may need more rigorous testing with SIP-P on this system. Apply a large security coefficient. For example, if SIP-P testing shows 3,000 concurrent calls, use a safety coefficient of 4 as an example, and dimension the system for no more than 750 concurrent calls. This over-provisioning accounts for potential spikes and ensures adequate capacity. In Asterisk PBX systems, there are several factors that can impair performance. Firstly, the number of concurrent calls being handled by the system. Secondly, the number of registered devices connected to the PBX, because the system has to refresh the registrations and, in many cases, ping the users. Thirdly, the transcoding process, especially for high complexity codecs such as G729 and Opals, requires 13 MIPS or 30 megaflops, respectively. Finally, the call attempts per second or CAPS metric, where the load of more than 100 CAPS can cause performance issues for the PBX system. Proper sizing and configuration is crucial to avoid impairment from these factors. Impairment factors continuation. Another thing that we should pay attention are CDRs, call detail records, because they consume IOs. They consume IO operations per second. So some SATA disks with 75 IOPS, very low number of IO operations per second, can impact the system. Recording calls is also important. Recording is an intensive operation in terms of disk IO. For a SAS disk with 15,000 RPM, it's recommended to keep the IOPS below 200 for optimal performance. Lately, most of the systems are coming with SSDs that makes this a lot better, right? But pay attention. Applications like conference rooms, queues, interactive voice response systems can affect the overall system performance in an unpredictable manner. Depends on the tree, the IVR tree. It's not possible to predict the performance impact of an unknown application before it has been developed and tested. So pay attention also when dimensioning Asterisk on these impairment factors. For testing Asterisk PBX systems, two key tools are SIP-P, which is a traffic generator, and SIP-Cup, an open source test suite available at Mojolingo. These tools allow you to simulate real-world call scenarios and load conditions to thoroughly evaluate the performance and functionality of your Asterisk setup before deploying in a production environment.